All right, let's dive straight into an absolutely explosive investigation that was recently brought to light by the Wall Street Journal and Forbes. Today's explainer is all about peeling back the curtain on the hidden forces shaping one of the most vital companies in the entire AI revolution, Anthropic. We usually think of these massive tech labs as being driven purely by code, algorithms, and, highly visible CEOs. But as this new reporting reveals, the reality is far more complex, deeply personal, and surprisingly undocumented.
To really understand the stakes of this story, we have to talk numbers. Wrap your head around this for a second. $2 trillion. Anthropic is currently racing toward a historic public listing, and investors expect the valuation could eventually reach that staggering $2 trillion mark. Silicon Valley is practically holding its breath for this debut. The sheer scale here means that whoever is actually calling the shots at Anthropic is effectively charting the course for the entire future of human technology.
So naturally, the public and the media are completely laser-focused on Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei. But there's a much deeper question we need to be asking right now. Who is the deeply influential, undocumented advisor actually counseling him behind closed doors? We're talking about someone helping make decisions at the absolute pinnacle of the AI revolution, totally away from the spotlight.
Section 1. The Invisible AI Advisor. Unmasking Cami Clark.
Cami Clark is this central, low-profile figure whose massive influence over Anthropic's ecosystem is only just now coming into focus thanks to this investigation. She's Dario Amodei's wife and an entrepreneur in her own right. But the contrast here is just wild. On the one hand, you have Dario Amodei, the highly visible CEO, the celebrated pioneer who is quite literally the face of the company. And on the other hand, you have Cami Clark, who holds absolutely no official title at Anthropic. She doesn't even officially work there. Reports actually note there have been targeted efforts over the years to deliberately scrub her public footprint, yet she is operating as his most vital advisor.
To give you an idea of just how effectively her online presence was scrubbed, get this. Until very recently, even Anthropic's own flagship AI, Claude, couldn't confirm if its own CEO was married. It literally lacked the basic data to know Cami Clark was part of the picture. I mean, that is an astonishing level of privacy for someone so deeply embedded in a trillion-dollar ecosystem.
Okay, moving to Section 2. Securing the seed money and the Eric Schmidt connection.
Clark's influence didn't just start recently, it goes right back to the genesis of the lab, well before Anthropic was even a company. She utilized a past relationship she had with former Google CEO Eric Schmidt. Tracking the timeline here is super important. Back in 2018, Clark brought the tech billionaire to the San Francisco apartment she shared with Amodei, specifically to introduce Schmidt to Amodei's pioneering research on scaling laws. Fast forward to late 2020, Amodei leaves OpenAI to form Anthropic. And by May 2021, that initial introduction pays off in a huge way when Schmidt backs their crucial early funding round. So Clark's early network laid the essential groundwork for the entire company.
The crucial takeaway here is that this exact relationship helped secure a vital $124 million Series A funding round backed by Schmidt. Without that initial 2018 meeting orchestrated by Clark right in her living room, the financial launchpad for one of today's most important AI labs might have looked entirely different.
And it goes further than that. Documents reviewed by the Wall Street Journal show that Clark actually pitched Schmidt a 40-page proposal she called the Mother of AGI Fund. The whole point of this fund was to formalize her role so she could manage Schmidt's AI portfolio. Now, internal pushback ended up stalling that specific project, but it perfectly highlights her incredible strategic ambition and just how close she was to the foundational capital of the AI boom.
Section 3. Pitching the Epstein Network. Exploring newly released DOJ files.
Now, we have to objectively examine a highly controversial chapter in Clark's entrepreneurial past. We're sticking strictly to the facts brought to light by recently released Justice Department files and the reporting by Forbes and the Journal. Let's look at the timeline neutrally. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted in 2008. Around 2010, Clark starts an enterprise called Edis, pitching it as a revolutionary company for women. In March 2011, which is years after Epstein's conviction, literary agent John Brockman introduces Clark to Epstein via email at a Munich tech conference. By 2012, Clark is actively sending Epstein film scripts, treatments, and pitching her ventures directly to the financier.
In a lengthy 2012 email exchange found in the files, Clark actually reminded Epstein of her free, luxury adult company. And Epstein famously responded to her pitch by stating that it, quote, rang a loud gong. This specific interaction has obviously drawn immense media scrutiny, shining a harsh light on the lengths entrepreneurs in these elite circles will go to secure capital.
When Epstein pushed back on funding the adult media pitch, Clark proved to be highly adaptable. She strategically pivoted her approach. Step 2 of her pitch shifted to a completely different concept, a women's social health and dieting app that would combine data from fitness monitors. She was actively seeking his financial backing across several very different industries.
However, this is absolutely crucial to note. While email records do confirm she kept Epstein on her event lists and remained connected with him on LinkedIn through 2013, there is zero indication in any of the files that Jeffrey Epstein ever actually invested in her companies. The outreach was definitely extensive, but the financial transaction seemingly never happened.
All right, let's jump to Section 4, Strategy Behind Closed Doors. Clark's current influence at Anthropic. So, zooming back out to the present day, despite her scrubbed public footprint, Clark has remained quietly by Amodei's side everywhere, from Sun Valley to major international tech stages. And her current influence inside executive circles is unmistakable. She sits front row at his keynotes. At a major AI summit in New Delhi, executives were allowed 1+1. Instead of bringing an Anthropic colleague, Amodei brought Clark. Behind closed doors, she's the one actively reassuring stakeholders that Anthropic is rooted in national defense, not ideological bias. And she's reportedly counseling Amodei through incredibly delicate political maneuvering, things like navigating U.S. Department of Commerce export restrictions and legal battles with the Department of Defense. She's clearly far more than just a supportive spouse. She is an active, top-tier corporate strategist.
Section 5. Silicon Valley's power networks, the unorthodox currency of tech. Now, as of this reporting, neither Cami Clark, Eric Schmidt, nor Anthropic have publicly commented on these revelations, but their silence really leaves us to analyze what this all means for the broader ecosystem building our tech. The core takeaway from today's explainer is this. In Silicon Valley, the official org charts, the press releases, the public-facing CEOs, they're only half the story. Unseen relationships, quiet introductions in apartments, and hidden personal networks are often the true currency building our future. The real power dynamic isn't just happening in the code, it's in the quiet conversations happening just out of frame.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. As artificial intelligence continues to scale at breakneck speed and integrate into absolutely every facet of our lives, who is truly steering the ship behind closed doors? If the most vital companies of our era are being shaped by undocumented advisors and unorthodox personal networks, how will those hidden ties ultimately dictate all of our futures? Thanks for exploring this with me today, and as always, keep questioning what's happening behind the screen.